Well, Rachel, we're back in the studio. In the studio. And look, we're coming in here, and I think it's important that, we don't talk about anything else, or at least we start the show off with the end of an era. And that is that Jakob Silfverberg is retiring.
Noted
Anaheim Duck. Yeah. Is retiring at the age of 33.
That is early.
That's mainly the reason why I put it in the prep. It's odd.
Well, he's had a ton of injuries.
Yes.
He's a Duck, right? Obviously, he started as a Sen, but
he spent way less. Like, I think it's 48 games or something.
And it feels like it was, I don't know why, but I guess that's like
I thought he was a Sen for longer than that. But no, he played like part of one season with the Sens and then immediately got traded. Now, who did he get traded for?
I don't even.
Like, he was in a big trade, and I genuinely can't remember, and I'm going to look that up right now.
Yeah, he was in a big trade because it was like
him.
Bobby Ryan.
It was the Bobby Ryan trade. Yeah. So it was him. Actually, you know what? I am going to look up this trade.
No, yeah, it was the Bobby Ryan trade. He honestly retiring at 33 it's commendable because like you're still at a point where your body's not broken down enough. And you're not like an elite talent that's chasing a points record or anything like that. So if you're happy with the money that you've made and you don't want to jeopardize your future, good on you, honestly. Yeah. I have a ton of respect for that.
Look, he hasn't won a cup. So maybe like, if anything, I would have thought that might be the thing that would keep him going. But look, if you're right, you don't want, like, you only have so many years on this earth. He played 13 years in the NHL. He finished, he had 420 goal seasons, finished in the top 20 in Selke voting once. He was a very underrated player. Like, he was very good in his prime.
I think he flew under the radar.
Absolutely.
Big time.
Do you want to know what the Bobby Ryan trade was?
Yeah.
So it was Silfverberg, obviously. And then there's a 2011 first rounder that is a current Carolina Hurricanes legend right now. Former Leaf, too, for a very brief period.
What?
Someone who I brought up last show as a dubious mistake that you kind of waved off. It's Stefan Neeson.
Oh.
So it was Bobby Ryan to the Sens for Silfverberg, a 2011 first rounder in Stefan Neeson, Ottawa and Ottawa's 2014 first rounder, which turned out to be another Leaf great, Nick Ritchie. So,
Maron.
Yeah. Now the thing about Silfverberg too is he came into the league extremely hyped. He won SHL MVP when he came in with when he was a kid, and
Pedersen level hype.
I would say that he might not have hit that hype. Obviously, like, he might not have fulfilled it, but he was still a very effective player.
Anyone who plays 13 years in the league, effective player. So congratulations to Silfverberg. I mean. I have a ton of respect, like I said, for somebody who recognizes, hey, like, you know what? I have other things I want to do in my life. I've made enough money. I don't need to make any more. I'm good.
He's got the three, he's RRS, I like to call it. The three things that you want in life. He's ripped, he's rich, and he's Swedish. That's as good as it gets, I think. So it's pretty good. Another thing too, Rachel, that we need to talk about here is the fact, and I'm so glad that this broke before the show. Thank goodness that we record after 5 p.m. So at least we have the 5 p.m. news dumps, or we don't miss them. But
good.
The defensive market has been reset completely. Noah Hanifin re-ups in Vegas for 8 years, $7.85 million AAV. First of all, this was expected to happen the moment he got traded there.
Yeah.
Like, basically, he wants to stay in the States. We both been to Vegas.
State, tax-free state.
Yeah. Tax.
Obviously federal, but
yeah, there's no in-state income tax. It's Nevada. It's a pretty.
So my friend is married to, or getting married to, Michael Amadio. She loves living out. Like, they don't live on the Strip. Obviously, nobody lives on the Strip. You've got to be a lunatic to do that.
It's not even possible.
Well, you could live in
one of the hotels, but like why would
there's condos in the same way that, like, pretty much every big hotel here has condos.
But why
in
would
it.
you? Why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't personally, but she says like being in and around Vegas, like the suburbs of Vegas, it's beautiful, it's peaceful.
Houses are huge and cheap.
They absolutely love it there.
Mm-hmm.
It's safe. Like, I don't know, man. It seems like a pretty nice place to live. You can golf year round.
Yeah. I remember flying
pretty nice
over.
Place in my opinion.
Like, we both. I was in Vegas. We were both in Vegas for Game 5. I was in Vegas for the whole series, and believe me,
I was in Vegas for 9 days straight.
Yeah, I was in Vegas.
I'm surprised I didn't die.
Yeah, last year in total, I believe I spent 11 days in Vegas. Broken up. I think it was 7 the first time, and then 4 the second. Yeah. That is way too many days to be in Vegas, at least on the Strip. But
4 days max is usually what you do, right? You do.
It's a 3-day town.
No, but what I mean is 4 days including travel.
Yeah.
So like that.
Like you fly out on the 4th day.
Yeah, exactly.
It is a 3-day max town. But flying in, you fly over at least from the flight plan that good old Delta Airlines took into Vegas first time, is you fly over the suburbs and you look down. Every single house is a pool. It is
massive backyard.
They're all massive. It's picturesque. You love it. So obviously this was going to happen, but 8 years, 7.85 mil. You ran your model. There's some player comparables. Why don't you hit us with the player comparables for Noah Hanifin?
Yeah. So when you're in this type of conversation, you're in a pretty good conversation. His comparables are Jakob Silfverberg, Shea Theodore, Brady Shea. Like those are the 3 closest comparisons, and then mixed in there you've got, and don't forget, this isn't just for this year. This is generally speaking. Travis Sanheim, that's another really good quality
Absolutely,
defenseman.
Yeah.
Like you're looking at a guy that, like all of those guys I just named off are top 4 defensemen with a bullet, like impact guys. How are you arguing? So I mean, I think of other defensemen that are going to be like up for a contract. Filip Hronek is a name that keeps coming up. Filip Hronek is a good defenseman.
Yeah.
But like when he is with Quinn Hughes, he's one level, and when he's not with Quinn Hughes or Mo Seider, he's a different level. Noah Hanifin has proven he can play with or without sort of support as a partner, and that's the difference, right? Bruce Cassidy right now has Theodore on one pair, Pietrangelo on one pair, and Hanifin on one pair. So at all times, one of those defensemen is on the ice. That is a nightmare to deal with if you're an opposing team. Like, you don't get a good matchup ever.
Yeah.
And so when you're in conversations with Brady Shea and Jakob Slavin and Shea Theodore, like we're talking about especially Slavin and Theodore, like some of the best defensemen in the league.
Yeah.
Right? And Shea is a proper top 4 defenseman.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, you're negotiating a contract now. How do you with a straight face say, I'm worth 8.5? Because now, if I'm the Canucks, I'm like, well, Noah Hanifin's better than you. Right? I think Hronek has 48 points. Hanifin has 44. They're flip-flopped.
Hanifin's got 44 points. 13 goals, though.
Yeah.
31 assists.
But he's the better defenseman.
Is he playing more?
Can anchor his own. That part, in Vegas, in Calgary, he was playing the same as Hronek. But
in Vegas, he's playing the same as he was in Calgary.
Oh, so then, yeah, he's playing the same as Hronek. But, like, regardless, Hronek without Hughes, there is a chasm of difference. And so I think you're right in the sense that, like, the D market has been a little bit reset. You look at it. Cale Makar making 9.25. Charlie McAvoy also in the 9s. Adam Fox he's
in the 9s.
In the 9s.
He's 9.25, I think.
Somehow Darnell Nurse.
Yeah.
Also in the 9s.
Devin Taves making less than 8 is huge. Like, how do you go into negotiation? This is the Chris Tanev trade of signings.
Yeah.
Where Tanev gets traded for like a third and some dude no one has ever heard of before. Yeah. And then you call up another team for Matt Dumba and you go, we want a first for Matt Dumba. You go, Chris Tanev. First of all, shut up. Yeah. Second of all.
First of all, shut your mouth.
Yeah. Chris Tanev just got traded for a second and a guy.
And Guy.
You telling me Matt Dumba?
Mark Donk.
No, thank you.
Or the Russian version of Mark Donk, Marek Donkov.
Marek Donkov. They also, like, these two guys, when you talk about actual not deployment, but workload, they have almost identical ice times. Hronek or Hanifin this year is 23:37 average. He's 23:02 with Vegas. So still but 23:37. Hronek is 23:31. They're almost identical.
But Hronek's numbers without Hughes are like markedly different. Whereas Hanifin is playing on a crap team in Calgary. Is still very good. Now he's on a good team. That team looks insane.
And he was still good even, the team does look insane. He was still good even after Tanev left. He was still good even after,
separated from Weegar.
Exactly. Like he can hold the fort. So that's huge. Like this is.
Yeah, I think you're in a situation now, like you said, where the market's sort of been reset to more of a reasonable, because no one is walking into a negotiation after the year that Makar and Yossi and
Hughes.
Yeah, but Hughes makes 6-8 because he signed as an RFA.
Yeah, but he's coming up. Like
2 more years.
I know, but when that happens though, it's gonna be like 11.
Yeah, because it'll be
the cap will even be up. So I'm thinking
it'll be 11. It'll be around 11.
If Quinn Hughes walked into the Canucks brass
today
and was like, I want $12 million a year, or I walk, they'd give it to him.
Well, yeah, he's their captain. They don't want to lose a second captain in the span of 2 years.
Yeah. How's Atu Rati doing, by the way?
Actually, he's pretty good.
Oh, that's good. I haven't heard anything about him.
Which is not ideal.
Exactly. That's why I asked. But hey, if it's good, then it's good.
He looks pretty good. I think at the NHL level, his ceiling
is Jakob Silfverberg.
Third line player.
Yeah.
He's probably a fourth line player.
That's what you want to get for your captain. Speaking of not fourth line players.
Okay.
I want to rip through our headlines.
Noah Hanifin?
Steven Stamkos.
Not a fourth line player.
Yeah. See, I'm good with the segues. That's the 0 years of broadcast school showing off right there.
How many years did you spend in the College of Sports Media? 0?
0. Yeah.
All right. No.
I heard they have great offices. Or studio spaces. That's
Michael.
Great. Anyway,
this man is
filled with amenities. It's great.
We have not seen each other in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's so off the rails. We're barely keeping it together right now.
I'm barely awake right now. I've barely
Okay, I gotta confess something, and you're gonna be so proud of me that we're sitting here functioning. I was having issues sleeping just because I've been back and forth and whatever. I got 4 hours and 11 minutes of sleep last night. And I am having a functional conversation.
That's great. Right, very proud of you.
It is honestly
very proud of you.
Usually it's 8 with a bullet.
Yeah. That's
at least. Or what was it the one time I was like, I only got 6 hours of sleep, and you're like, we're recording
fuck
tomorrow.
You. Yeah. But also I only got 6 hours. That's I average 6. I hate people who are who brag about how little sleep they get. I feel like those are the most they're like, yeah, man, I only got 4 hours sleep last night, but I'm still here. I'm just chill. I'm like, shut. I don't give a shit.
The only people, okay, I will say this. The only people that can brag like that are military, firemen, because sometimes if you're in the military and you're off shift, let's say, right? Because there's obviously schedules and stuff, but some shit goes down.
You're in.
You are on
anyone duty. Who's on call.
If you're in a barracks, you are on
But anyone who works in a job.
So if they I only got 2 hours of sleep or whatever, or these military naps. Do you know about these?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How does that even work?
I gotta master it's like a psychological thing. You go up against a wall and you put your feet up, you put your legs up, and somehow there's some breathing technique, and then you're out.
And it's 15 minutes.
It's 15 minutes. You wake up and you feel refreshed. It's crazy. I don't know how they do it.
I need to ask my friend.
We need to do that.
You know what? I'm going to ask he's actually, I don't know where in the world he is right now, but when
you should ask him.
Get a hold of him, I'm going to ask him about this. Because he always talks. He's like, I got my nap today. I'm like, how long was it? And he was 11 minutes. I'm like, that's not a nap.
That's not a nap. That's
bro.
That's like someone knocked you unconscious and you woke up. That's about it.
Anyway,
Steven Stamkos. Look, it's the talk of the league right now because I don't know if you remember, Rachel, but at the start of the season in training camp, there were some very awkward moments with Steven Stamkos. The first thing he said on media day was basically, "I'm upset."
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
He was he felt like the team
he felt
sort of
disrespected.
forgot
Yeah,
about him.
that they were ready to like kind of just sweep him out the door.
Proceeds to go on a 40-goal campaign.
He's got
Like an
39 goals
absolute
and
champ.
77 points. He's playing remarkable. His comparables are hilarious.
They're so fun.
His player comps, like you ran the model. Sidney Crosby.
Alex Ovechkin. We're talking about this season.
Yeah.
Anze Kopitar. And like obviously the model takes into account salary. Like that is part of it. It takes into account salary, age, scoring, value to team. Okay. So he is in the conversation to be the best mid-30s player in the league right now. Like, obviously, you're going to take Crosby and Ovechkin over him.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I don't know, actually. Would you take Ovechkin over him right now?
No.
Probably not, right?
Current Ovechkin over current Stamkos? Absolutely not.
You would take Crosby, though.
Oh.
And you would take Kopitar.
I would take, yeah, Kopitar.
But
Just because of the two-way. But, like...
In that discussion, at that level, this guy's a UFA this year. Now, I think we're all sort of under the assumption that he's not going to walk.
No, but the whole reason I bring it up is that there's no assumption anymore. At the start of the season, like Steven Stamkos has been in Tampa for 15 years.
He was their first overall pick.
He was their first overall pick. He was they obviously
came back during the Cup final when he was basically dead.
Well, he spent the entire bubble, like 2 months, in the worst possible, like, obviously they were cushy and everything, but like when it comes to...
I was going to say the Royal York is...
Exactly. But I mean, it like if you talk to, like, for example, Chris Johnston, like I talked to people who were in the bubble and they said it was miserable. Yeah, they say like it was awful because you're just getting poked and prodded all day. You can't go outside. You can't see anyone. You know, you're going crazy. He endured that the whole time. And then came back for like 2 minutes, literally. Scored. And then like
never seen again.
Yeah, but like that is remarkable. But like he was obviously the Lightning won the cup in 2004, but then they had a real lull after that.
Well, yeah, because that's what enabled them to draft Stamkos first, Hedman second.
He was the impetus of them going up. Like him and Marty St. Louis in their prime, it was, you know, they were a very scary duo. Yeah, very scary duo. And some Brad Richards in there as well. Like you know, that's great. But like this is as Steven Stamkos is as important to the Lightning as
any other player in franchise history.
No, any other player in the league, man. Like he's won 2 cups. He's been to 4 cup finals. He's won 2 of them. He is. They made it to the cup final in 2015.
Yep. No, I was thinking he doesn't have an Olympic gold because he was hurt both times.
Yeah, he was hurt both times, and even then, like he almost recovered from a broken leg in like 2 months to go back. Like he was that close. I think of like he is on the level of a Crosby, of an Ovechkin, of a Malkin, of
importance to franchise.
Yeah, I would even say
no one's ever wearing 91 again.
Exactly.
No.
So, and why I say that is the Lightning left him as a pending UFA. Like you don't do that. Can you freaking imagine? Like I know that Malkin just had that, but that's a different situation. He's a bit older. You know, although
the direction the Penguins are going eyebrow raising.
Yes, the direction is different. I would say like the personality is maybe a bit different. Like there's just some differences there, but like you don't see any other team. You don't the Caps are never going to let Alex Ovechkin become a pending UFA. He will always.
Ted Leonsis has publicly said he's not allowed to play for another team.
Exactly. Like you will lock him up forever. Like Sidney Crosby, I believe next year is he's
eligible to sign July 1.
Exactly. He will sign July 1.
Yeah.
Like they will not let that go. Like, you know, as it like there's a
12:02 he's gonna
exactly like when you think about like the Red Wings never let Nick Lidstrom get to free agency. They never
imagine?
I know they never let Steve Yzerman get to free agency. You know, like the closest thing I can think of is back when Colorado, even when he was like an RFA, they let Joe Sakic get to RFA status, and he almost got poached as an RFA, and that's it. But then they locked him up, and now he's their freaking president. You know,
it would be okay. Obviously, he didn't win with the team, but in terms of like importance to franchise, what if Steven Stamkos were to leave Tampa? It would be like when Matt Sundin walked from Toronto. Like if you were to see Stamkos in a different jersey,
Oh, it'd be crazy.
It's weird. Like when Martin Brodeur was wearing a Blues jersey, I was like, I'm sorry, that's illegal.
And they already walked him to UFA once. That's another thing too.
Yeah.
Is this already happened? And so I can understand why Stamkos would be pissed about that. Like obviously, you want to, like when you're a young guy like that, you want to sow your oats. You want to see at least what's out there. But when you're at this age,
you're the captain of the franchise.
Captain of the franchise.
Arguably, it's the best player in franchise history in terms of Kucherov most talented.
And St. Louis up there too.
Yeah, but I think when you look at what it meant to the franchise, he was their golden boy.
Yeah. And like I want you to look at team valuation. What those 3 straight cup final appearances did and those 2 cups.
Tampa's franchise valuation is tripled.
Exactly. Like Steven Stamkos is a very, very big part of that. You don't walk a guy like this to free agency. And so I know that normally the reaction, or I would say like the reflex is to go, oh, well, there's an assumption that, they'll re-sign. There's not. There's a good chance. I would say there's a better than it
seems like it's 50-50 at this point.
I'd say there's a 50-50 chance that Steven Stamkos is a friggin', I don't know,
Utah something.
Utah Soakers. You know what soaking is, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah.
Not going down that road.
The Utah Soakers.
The Utah Teamy McTeam faces.
Yeah. The Utah ATMs.
It's honestly, it's crazy.
Yeah.
There's just a part of me, similar to Sid, I just can't imagine him anywhere else. But
it's getting there.
It'll be, honestly, if he plays for another team, it's going to be like Brodeur, watching Brodeur play for St. Louis when he went there. I'm going to look at that and be like, that's really
or
weird.
the one practice pick of Lundqvist in a Caps jersey.
And I don't get me, as somebody with significant heart issues, obviously you never wish heart issues on anyone, but could you imagine
if there was up in a game
footage of Henrik Lundqvist in a Caps jersey?
No, thank you. No, no, thanks.
His good-looking self belongs in a New York Ranger uniform and only
it
in a New York
belongs in Broadway blue, and that is it.
And in his fancy suits that make him look very nice.
Yeah. So what do you what I want to know is, what do you do? You're obviously
sign him?
The reaction is Julien Brisebois, but there's a reason why, why they've walked him here, because they think that his injury history is being a lot. Obviously,
if
Tampa.
He's willing to do what it seems like John Tavares is willing to do, which is
we don't know if John Tavares is. Everyone, you know what? And I know this is a bit of an aside.
I am going to refrain from comment on what I know and don't know.
Okay, okay, that's good. But I'm just saying, everyone. From basically starting last year when Tavares was in his second last year or whatever, or third last year, people were starting to be like, oh yeah, Tavares will take less to be here. And I'm I know that you probably know stuff, so we won't, but I very much
just keep in mind he golfs with my family,
but especially in Toronto, especially if you're a two-way center, perhaps I would caution Leafs fans from just assuming that the local guy is going to re-sign for a team-friendly deal.
Right. Had he not already told people in his circle that he wasn't moving his kids
anywhere? He's not gonna. But I just wonder. Put it this way:
when you spend $7 million building a house, and you're from that city, you're probably not moving anywhere else.
I don't know. Maybe he's skedaddling from the CRA. Who knows?
You're still gonna have to pay that.
I know. It's a shame, but but this is a big deal. Steven Stamkos could potentially be playing for another team. That would be a travesty. But there's a reason. I'm saying the reason why he's being walked here is because of the age and the injury history.
Which on Julien Brisebois' part,
he could
sound right. Honestly, I think we're in the situation we're in because Julien Brisebois wanted to see what Stamkos was capable of. Well, now he's shown you he can score 40 goals still.
So what impetus then does Stamkos have to take anything team friendly? He's you gambled on me, your captain. He would be doing them a massive favor if he did it. I don't if I'm Steven Stamkos, I go really? You wanted me, your captain, your golden boy, the guy who's been here for basically almost half of his life, who's dedicated his entire professional career to this team, who's brought two straight Stanley Cups, who's brought you to the Cup final 4 times. You wanted me to be in a prove it year? Fuck you. Pay me my money. Pay me $8.5 million. I'm a 40 goal scorer.
Yeah.
Do it. And like,
he's not even a 40. He's a 60 goal scorer.
No, but like even right now.
Yeah. Oh,
he's
yeah,
like,
he's
you
a
wanted,
40 goal scorer.
it's the Subban thing where they were like, sure, you can bridge me for like 2.5 or whatever a year.
Then you're going to pay me 9.
But I'm going to put up point. I'm going to win a Norris. Like I'm going to. And when that happens, you better pay. You better pay up.
What is it? Fuck you, pay me.
Yeah, fuck you, pay me. Like, oh, I don't know, man. Your injury history is no. Fuck you, pay me. Like it's that kind of stuff. So
it's gonna be very.
I'm very fascinated to see what goes on here. All right, Rachel.
Okay, so Mike, we have to talk about the Arizona Coyotes.
I know we do. And you know what? I know you wanted me to come on here and you wanted me to be all upset that we have to talk about the Coyotes.
In the same boat in that like we feel really bad for the players.
I feel bad for the players and for the fans.
And the good, like the actual working people in the organization, the trainers.
I also feel bad for the media. Like I think
ticket staff.
I think of
marketing,
those
people.
I think about guy like because that
Craig Morgan.
Yeah, you know what? Let's just be honest. I feel really, really, really bad for Craig Morgan, and as much as in like because that guy like that is his thing, like his market. He is the Arizona Coyotes guy. Anything that happened.
Oh, he is their water boy.
Yes, but I mean like just source of information. Like he is like the team. You know, he works for a company called PHNX. Like it's not UTAH. It's you know like
it's not Utah.
Exactly. Like and so I can't even imagine if I dedicated my entire life to the Toronto Maple Leafs and then the Leafs just up and leave. You know like you know what. Think about our quality of life and how much better it'd be if that happened. But like this is devastating. This is professionally devastating because now he's got to wonder, do I move to Utah? He's got to think about that. Or
the answer to that is immediately no.
But then I go then I think my business is going to go belly up. Like there's
guess you better pivot.
There's so many aspects of this, and this is why. This all comes down, and we're going to get into the specifics, don't worry, but this all comes down directly on the stupid fucking head of Alex Morello.
How do you feel about Coyotes ownership? Tell the class.
I fucking hate them. I hate them. I'm tired.
We should honestly, instead of listing people we feel bad for, let's just list the people we don't feel bad for because
Alex Morello, Xavier Gutierrez, and Alex Morello Jr.
Yeah.
If I could punch those 3 men in the face all at the same time right now, I would do it.
Falcon punch?
If I could Falcon punch them all, I would do it. These are billionaires who have shortchanged at every turn, have cut corners, and like again, I want to bring back.
When you're like doing you know what this reminds me of? I was having this conversation with somebody. What the Arizona Coyotes are doing is, remember when we were in school, okay? And we would have to do like a math test.
Yeah, that was my D-Day.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And they always say like, you got to show your work. I would just write the answers down. Cut corners. But if you just write the answer down and it's wrong, you get no marks.
Yeah,
but you look like a goddamn loser.
At least if you show your work,
but if you show your work and the process is right,
2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, you know.
Whatever. These guys cut corners so badly that they tried to make a square and it turned into a goddamn triangle.
Yeah. No, it turned into like a dodecahexagon or whatever.
Like it's, you know, a circle.
It turned into a shape it turned into a rhombus.
They cut so many corners that the Arizona Coyotes are now a circle. And now we're at the point where they haven't shown their work, there's nothing.
They're a circle in what it would look like if a snake was sucking its own dick. That's what that's what they're like. They're the biggest.
What?
That's what the circle is. They are the biggest I hate them. And there's a that
my brain is not
processing that metaphor works. And believe me, let me tell you. But
what did he just say?
That metaphor works. But like I want to bring back again the Katie Strang piece that we referenced way back when we referenced this way back when we were talking about and by way back I mean like probably January or something, when we were talking about what it public money for arenas. We did a whole deep dive on that.
Oh yeah, and like why it's a bad idea.
And you broke out your sports business textbooks and all that. And we did all that.
I was literally flipping through my textbook.
But we had that Katie's like not enough people have read that. I'm going to be honest, and I want to
print it out, highlight it.
But not enough people, because the Arizona Coyotes, their corporate culture under Alex Morello is toxic. I know multiple people who have worked in the Coyotes organization under Alex Morello. They ran from that organization screaming.
Neither one of us knows anything about toxic workplaces, though, so we can't comment.
Don't. But no, this is like they and then even like I've been on the phone with the Glendale city manager.
So wild to me that you actually did
that. I've talked to the guy who's in charge of overseeing this, and he hated them. The last quote, I'll always remember it. The last quote that he gave me before we...
Is his name Kevin?
I believe so. Kevin something. It was so long ago, I can't remember. But like him being like, we are now having a renovation project for Gila River Arena that's going to turn into a great entertainment value, and we're very excited about the project with the Coyotes not a part of it.
Like when you get singled out,
that's a politician.
We're excited that you're not here. It's not.
But this is what and I think of like this is Alex Morello, billionaire.
But is he a billionaire or is he like a Trump billionaire?
Maybe his assets say that, but still, he's got more money than the guy who sells napkins. And so the guy, so he goes,
or the straw guy.
Yeah, so he goes to the guy who sells napkins, and he goes, "Hey, let's get a 3-year vendor partnership together, where I will pay you X amount of money. Let's say for the whole year, I will pay you $600,000 to be the official napkin supplier. That's a lot of napkins that are going into this arena. You have no idea how many napkins or arenas go through, because it's not just hockey games, but it's all the concerts and events and everything. So you have that on paper, and so that person plans their business and their life under the assumption that at the end of every year, they will have been paid $600,000. Those payments never come. And so the local vendor now goes, hey, calls up Alex Morello and goes, hey, we had an agreement.
What the heck?
What the heck is going on here? And Alex Morello goes, oh, well, I actually got my lawyer to look through this. Or actually, no, Alex Morello doesn't do that. He gets his lawyer to do that and goes, we've been looking through this, and you didn't comply with this clause and this clause and this clause, even though they did. They try and minutia it out. And then after knowing that Alex Morello has more money than this local vendor, and this local vendor has bills, he has staff, he has probably a mortgage, he has to pay rent on like commercial leasing rent, and he goes, oh, well, I just need any kind of money because the bills are starting to pile up.
I would stop sending napkins.
My credit is being hit. Like we need any money. So then they go, okay, well, because you didn't do this, we are prepared to offer to amend the deal. So we'll only have to pay you $200,000. And out of sheer desperation,
that's Trump right there.
And out of sheer desperation, this napkin vendor has to go, fine.
That's
because
Trump.
I need some money in my bank account so I can pay my staff, so I can pay my mortgage, so I can just survive and float. That is what they did with all of their local vendors. Not to mention the fact that they never paid their taxes and lied about it. Not to mention
that they don't have an arena to play in.
It's so funny if you go back where the guy on the phone, the city manager, because they claimed that it was human error, and he goes, everyone in Arizona goes to an online portal and they hit the big button that says remit. And if you're telling me that they weren't able to do that for 16 months, I just don't buy it.
Okay, so let's move.
So that is...
Hang on.
Yes.
We've covered this ad nauseum, and it's honestly giving me a headache.
Yeah, so that's why I say I'm so sorry to the fans. And I don't and I don't want it to sound like my anger or our anger towards talking about the Coyotes has anything to do with you Coyotes fans, because you are the fact that any of you still exist
is frankly astounding.
Is a miracle, like a biblical proportions. The Arizona Coyotes have done, the Phoenix Coyotes and then the Arizona Coyotes have done everything a sports team can do to drive you away.
Oh, they slap their fans in the face on a near daily basis.
It is the most abusive relationship between fan base and team there is, and you still stick around, that's great. But the NHL is a better place, or will be a better place, with Alex Morello and Xavier Gutierrez and Alex Morello Jr. and anyone involved in this current Coyotes ownership sphere, not in the league.
So let's talk about relocation, because it
by the way,
seems...
the league is working on a plan to relocate the Coyotes to Salt Lake City for next season, just in case anyone didn't pick up on that, because I don't think we actually said it off the hop.
So here's the deal.
What is the deal?
I think a lot of people say, like, oh, these players make money, like, they can move and whatever. I think that is a terrible way of looking at anything. That's a terrible lens to have.
It's also not true.
Like, it doesn't matter. And it took me a little bit to learn this, but like, as I grow and I'm doing various things, I realize, like, I don't care how much you pay me, like, at all, right? We were talking about this when I turned down the job last month. If I don't feel content, safe, happy in my environment, there's no amount of money that's going to change that, right? So you look at the Coyotes, there is a chasmic difference between living in Arizona and living in Utah.
First of all, in Utah, like players like to indulge in
people retire in Arizona.
Yeah.
I don't know a single person that retires in Salt Lake.
If a person says, let's say you're at
institution.
I would say, let's say you're at a job and like Jim in accounting has worked there for 30 years, and you go like, and Jim at his retirement party, and you go like, oh man, that's great, Jim. You had 30 years worth of service this company. That's awesome. You're gonna retire now. Like, where are you going? You're gonna take the missus and go to Florida, or maybe get a timeshare in Arizona or something. He's like, and he goes, no. We're gonna retire down to Salt Lake City. I go like you're a freaking freak, Jim. Like you're a sicko.
To the mental institution.
Exactly.
Like my mom's gonna retire probably in the next year. Mm-hmm. She's gonna retire.
If she came to you and was like, I'm thinking of buying a place in Salt Lake City and just sowing my oats, just setting roots down, enjoying retirement.
My stepdad would be like, enjoy your divorce.
Yeah.
No,
get ready to learn divorcees, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. we already have our place in Mexico, and then Italy.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Decidedly not Utah. But here's the thing. Okay,
Arizona, the beaches of Tuscany, or
Amalfi,
or Salt Lake City. Which one?
Yeah. So
yeah,
this is. You have a young team, right? The thing with Arizona is Logan Cooley, Clayton Keller, Dylan Gunther, Dmitry Simashev is coming. They're going to have a top 5 pick in this year's draft. Like, there's so many young players. Salt Lake City is not exactly where you want to be.
So I was going to say, young hockey players, they like to indulge in a cocktail every once in a while. Can't do that in Salt Lake City.
Wait, what?
It's a Mormon place. Like, you can't drink.
No, there's bars.
Nope.
Yeah, there absolutely has to be, because the Utah Jazz, it's like a requirement of the NBA. You have to have some level. They might close early, but there's no chance. It is a Mormon state. Let's call it what it is. I'm pretty sure that's where BYU is, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah.
But the reality of the situation is those players signed up to play in Arizona. And there is, sorry, Utah, but there's a reason why people go hang out in Arizona and they don't go hang out in Utah. These players, and regardless, whether they're moving to Utah or they're moving to Atlanta or wherever else, the fact that these players signed to play with the Arizona Coyotes and are now going to be forced to uproot and go play in a city they did not sign up to play for is flat out wrong. And it's just, at some point, the PA has got to do something, no?
Yes. No, sorry, I was just looking up... I was just looking up the alcohol laws in Utah. There are 9 dry cities in Utah. where
Yeah, that I knew.
alcohol is
There's,
banned.
yeah, there's dry counties in Kentucky.
Yeah, but I think it's dry. Is it dry cities or counties?
It would likely be county.
Dry cities, but they are counties. It says county.
Yeah.
You like it costs there's so little bars in Utah because it costs so much money to get your liquor license there. Like,
yeah, it seems like a great goddamn place to
and
have
keep in mind this is like
professional sports.
it's different it's different obviously for Canadians because we've been like we live with these laws all the time, but
we
like
get raked over the coals every 4.5 seconds by our government.
But
yeah.
in the States, like you can buy alcohol wherever you want.
You can
basically
walk down the street.
They don't have anything higher than I think it's like 4.5% alcohol in grocery stores in
Right.
Utah. And
which is like shocking
because it's so expensive to open up. Also, you have to, if you do open up a bar, you have to have a massive sign that literally says this is a bar.
Shut up. I need to take a picture with one of these.
You know, like
you know what? You and I, we need to go to Salt Lake.
Gotta go
we
to
need
Salt
to do
Lake.
some investigation.
Exactly. Like you know, the biggest
I need to sort this out for myself.
Utah, like the thing about Utah is that, like, for example, one of our old coworkers, like he was always like, I really want to go to Utah because there's this like malt shop where you can mix any soda you want because that's the only fun thing they have to do
dirty
there.
Sodas.
Exactly. Dirty soda. You know what else is dirty? A martini, you know? But no.
I love me a dirty martini.
I think about
I'm going to
that.
have one later.
Exactly. There you go. But this is crazy. I think, okay. So obviously,
Look,
like,
asking anyone, regardless, okay,
Yeah.
even if it was, you're in Arizona, let's say they're relocating to Atlanta.
yeah, like,
Buzzin' City.
anywhere, it doesn't matter.
Asking and expecting your employees to just simply uproot their families and leave because you couldn't get your act together is absolutely unacceptable.
It would be one thing, Rachel, if that was being asked of players. It'd be one thing if that was being asked of players by ownership when they had been brought along with full knowledge at every stage of this process. These players are finding out about this from Twitter. Can you imagine?
I was speaking to one of the Coyotes players. What was it, last night? Yeah, it was last night. I was speaking to a Coyote, and he basically was like, my wife was like keeping me up to date because she was just like reading people's tweets. I'm like, how are you not having a team meeting at any point in the last 2 weeks?
I understand that you can't because the main thing that a lot of the insiders that have broken this relocation news have made clear is that there are a lot of balls up in the air right now because there's a lot of legalese that still has to be done. It's a fluid situation. However, I know that as an ownership group as a legal entity, I know that you can't share all of the details because a lot of them aren't finalized. A lot, like we said, are still fluid. I get that. However,
a heads up.
Anything, even saying, "Hey guys, rumors or reports
There's a couple of scenarios that could play out. We need to prepare for both."
Exactly.
These are the scenarios.
Because a lot of you might have wives or partners or children that are in schools that are likely young. They got school. No, I got school.
It's
not funny. I got school.
My sister,
I love that,
does the best impression of that. It's on every time I'm in like a grumpy mood. She'll like come by and do her thing, and it's just,
I'm serious. I got school.
It's not funny.
It's not funny. But no, like it. And so what I also want to point out too. Oh, also, they tweeted through it.
Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to mention.
What?
Okay, I feel like this flew right under the radar.
What did it do?
Remember when Vegas was originally given a team and they hired
the most annoying social media person on the planet,
Dan Maraza, to build their presence?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he did a really good job of it.
He did, but he was annoying as hell, but he did.
But it's just not a style that other people are used to. But this is a style that gets used like all over professional sports, right? Guess who the Coyotes hired 2 months ago?
Was it him?
Yep. So that right there says we need someone who could do damage control online. Because if there is Dan is really talented at a lot of things. Like, he's worked at Canton for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's worked at DraftKings, obviously the Golden Knights. Like, he's had some high-end jobs in social media. When you are hiring Dan to be in charge of your strategy, it is because you either have to build something from the ground up, or you have something...
Or something is burning down.
Right, and you need brand management.
Exactly.
So that's basically what he specializes in. And think about how quickly DraftKings blew up.
Yeah.
From a social perspective. Like, he's really good at that kind of thing. So it's like, we might not agree with how they're doing it.
I don't.
Right? But when you bring in somebody like Dan, it's because you are in some deep trouble.
If I'm yesterday afternoon, these reports come out. And there's about 2 hours after they initially come out, they initially break, where like that's the height of the fervor. Like, where people are like, holy crap, this is actually happening. I cannot believe this. And the Coyotes, keep in mind, they're in the middle of the fervor. Like, about them.
You are the fire.
They tweet, it's Dylan Guenther's birthday today. Wish Dylan Guenther a happy birthday.
He scored 4 points last night.
He did, and that's great.
Against the team that traded the pick to
Yeah.
get him.
For Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
Connor Garland.
Incredible. But that, like, it's stuff like that. If I'm a player and I'm going, holy crap, we might have to uproot, like, honey, we might have to break our lease on our house if we're leasing a house, or if we don't,
Most guys do.
That exactly. Or if we bought it, we're gonna have to put it on the market again and go through all, like, we did a whole thing about how there's literally, like, they made two former NHL wives made a service.
Ellerby and
Montoya made a service about this because
they're gonna get real busy.
Oh, dude. They better, like, get ready to learn Utahese, buddy. Like, you're gonna be you're ready to learn Mormonese, buddy. You're gonna be there. But like, it's and you know, oh no, like, our kids are in school. They've been here for a while, or they just moved there, and they've made friends. And now we're gonna have to uproot them across the country. Do you even know, like, there's a reason why you have a no trade clause, because we don't want to get traded. Oh, well, you know, Utah doesn't exist, so I guess we don't have and also you're not getting traded, so that doesn't impact it. And we going, they're not telling us anything. Our employer's not telling us anything. Like, honey, I don't know what to tell you. I'm so sorry. Maybe, I guess we'll find out on Twitter. And then you see that the company
is tweeting,
and then after that they go, in preparation for their game against Vancouver, they go, they tweet this video of, like, it's Steve Dangle had a great tweet about it. It's like, if NHL franchises were valued upon how many times they tweet out stock footage, the Coyotes would be worth $10 billion, because it is all they do is tweet out stupid stock footage of, like, deserts and hockey, and they go, like, for our fans, for our state. That's what they did. Like, we're pushing through the noise and we're gonna put on for our state. And
no, I don't think so.
If I'm a player, I'm going, fuck you. I don't care if you're pushing through the noise. Give me the noise. Tell me what is happening.
So, and this gets to the last point I think we probably need to touch on.
Yeah.
And it is that, I don't know how you feel about it, but this notion that, like, Vancouver reporters last night and then Jim Matheson today were angry that the Coyotes weren't made available to discuss this specific topic. And it's like,
okay.
So here's where
I'll give you my perspective after this.
I understand, as people in media, that you have jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that this is something that you may want to ask about. But I think there is a level of decorum of, we already know, because it's public, that these guys have no idea. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these players are 19 and 20 years old, probably don't even understand everything that may have to go into relocation. And frankly, why should the players be answering for the just utter disaster? Alex Morelos stepped to the podium. Javier Gutierrez stepped to the podium.
How is Bill Armstrong not being on the podium?
But Jim Matheson being like, what else are we supposed to ask them about? I don't know. Maybe ask about, like,
the game that they just won.
The fact that Dylan Guenther just had 4 points.
On his birthday.
Ask
Did you know that it's his birthday?
Like, so I understand that you want to ask, but at the same time, We already know these players have no information. They're probably like anxiety ridden because they have wives and young kids. And I'm sorry, but from my position, if you can't come up with another angle, that is supremely on you.
So I understand. I even tweeted it this morning. I'm like, look, it's good that the Coyotes did this. They closed the room. They sent out Logan Cooley, who answered one question from the Coyotes' own internal sort of like entertainment product, and then he went back. And I get it. Like you're right. Everything you just said was right. The only thing that I take issue for is that like this isn't just, they're not just asking, like these reporters don't want to just ask, or okay, let me put it this way. Like when you're a beat reporter, you are on a deadline.
Yep.
So closing the room, making them wait around, closing the room, that cuts into your deadline. So you now have like 15 minutes less to write this story. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So that would be a huge, like I can see why they would be in the moment pissed tweeting about that. Secondly, a lot of these guys, they're not just writing about this for fun. Their editors have told them, this is the story, go write about it.
Right.
And so you then have to go back to your editor and go, hey, they closed the room. Our entire story is off. Like, what do you want me to do? I have to scramble last minute.
So here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Because you, like you said, you do like rooms, whereas I've been on the other side of it, where like I have been in meetings where the PR guy has said X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
So I think the solution is if you're Coyotes PR, whatever, you gather all the media and you say, we're opening the room. Here are the guidelines.
Exactly.
You may ask about the game. You can ask whatever you want, but the moment
we shut it down,
that you ask about relocation or anything like that, we close the room.
And that happens.
If one person fucks it up for all of you, you can go blame that person.
And that happens all the time.
Like, and that's what I think need. And you know what? If Jim Matheson wants to screw it up for everybody else, then let Jim Matheson screw it up.
That's the sword he's got to fall on. Like that. Like that's the thing. There's a way to do this where it's
but not making anyone available at all. Just set ground rules. And if the media is disrespectful and doesn't respect those ground rules, because it really shouldn't be that hard to not pester somebody about this.
It's also more of the. It's two things. It's more of the symbolic nature of opening the dressing room.
Yes.
Because you know, like I was a beat reporter when locker rooms were closed during COVID, and I was a beat reporter when they were open. And I know that this might be like, you know, an establishment type thing to say, but like it just helps so much when the room is open.
I never understand, and this is probably because I work in a different world. The room is never open in professional soccer, ever. If there's a mix zone, and the reason they do mix zone is everyone, you know how like when you're in the room and it's like you're getting these 5 guys kind of thing?
Yeah.
In the mix zone, every single player has to walk through. So you get every single player, but you are not allowed in the room. So what does that do? Let's say you move that to the NHL. What does that do? Nobody's stepping on the logo, so nobody has to have like a conniption about that, and you get access to everyone. And they stand there, like I've watched press conferences, they've stood there for like 10 minutes.
It's more of a comfortability thing. I think athletes are a lot more comfortable speaking or being in the locker room than being in a formal setting of a mix zone where you're standing, not at a podium, but there is like a partition or something in front of you. Like it just makes it just adds a sense of, it takes down a barrier formality that's extremely important.
There's room in the middle, right? Closing the room, not a good option.
But and then bombarding all these players.
Letting Jim Matheson and Ryan Rishaug and Dave Staples or whoever ask, like, honestly, you know what? I'm going to give Rishaug
I love how you just noted, you just, like, they didn't even play Edmonton last night. You just mentioned.
Edmonton.
No, I know, but it's just, like, it's so funny. Like, they didn't even.
I will give Rishaug some credit because, like, he is actually, I've heard him speak about the fact that when it comes to, like, this level of sensitivity, like, somebody asked Ryan McLeod about Michael McLeod, and he was one of the first people to be like, that's offside.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually going to remove him. But, like, Jim Matheson tweeting out, like, what else am I supposed to ask them about? It's like, dude, you've been in the media for how long? You can't come up with a different angle? That says more about you than anybody else.
I will, Ryan Rishaug's, you know, like, sort of conniption that he threw, or hissy fit that he threw over Al Montoya not speaking to him on the morning of a game day, when goalies never speak on the morning of a game day, is the funniest thing in the entire world. I just want to thank you, Ryan, for your service.
But
you know,
what I'm saying is,
bring
like,
our boys home.
I think there's got to be a meet in the middle between
it's
closing
easy.
the room and having some fucking respect for these people, because they're people and you guys are treating them like they're zoo animals.
Well, first of all, I don't think the media last night, they weren't mad that they couldn't ask these players about this stuff because it was a gotcha moment. They were mad because their editor said, this is the story. Yeah. We're running with it. It will do good numbers, which is in turn good for you. And when plans change last minute, when you have a story like that sucks. And so you have to scramble, and that sucks. Now, opening the room is a symbol. Like it's a symbolic sort of thing of, okay, like it's an olive branch between, media and PR, because the PR's job is to ensure that the media don't do their job as well as they can. Like that is literally their job. They did their job yesterday when they closed the room. And so this happens all the time. It happens with like every Torts press conference. It happens where you go, no questions about this. That you all of like how you wait outside a dressing room it's like a cattle. Like you're all in the same glob right outside the room, and you go, hey, and you're waiting for them to open up the doors. The PR person steps in front. They go, hey guys, we're about to open the room. No questions about this tonight. And you can, and everyone will bitch and moan, whatever. You go, no, it's fine, but no questions about this. That's
we're gonna shut it down.
Now, last thing I want to say on this, absolute last thing. The Coyotes went 0-12-2 from like January when they came back to late February. It tanked their season. They were treading water, but they tanked their season after that. Chris Johnson at The Athletic, he wrote an article today about the mental warfare that these guys are going through. And he interviewed Matt Dumba about this, who was on the Coyotes during that time. And the exact quote is, just the uncertainty, not knowing. I don't think anyone knows. It's tough for guys with families or guys who have been down there a long time and have their houses. You never know when that can be pulled out from under you. He confirmed, Matt Dumba, that the uncertainty around their status to be in Arizona was the principal factor that led to them going 0-12-2 and tanking their season. So at this point, the Morelos are so incompetent that they are sucking the life out of the on-ice product.
Well done,
Go
everyone.
Away.
Great job.
Go away. That's what I'm going to say.
Good riddance.
So obviously this is a developing story. We will keep you up to date on any developments that come through as they do. But YouTube, Twitch, any podcatcher, Spotify, all that. Definitely make sure to subscribe, and then also donate to Jumpstart, charity of choice. Jumpstart helps economically disadvantaged kids play team sports, which is a cause that is very near and dear to our hearts.